top 5 tonight is top 5 candy.
Inspired by Halloween.
Inspired by Halloween.
Spooky season.
In particular, what had me think of this was a tweet by... Who's it brought to us by?
Spirit Halloween costumes.
There you go. Just roll with it. If you just said it, I was like, fuck
I had to think of something.
All right. Hey, yo. Back with Who Effing Knows podcast. Episode 12?
2 weeks in a row.
Fucking right.
2 weeks in a row.
Back with Who Effing Knows podcast. The official podcast of people who lost their jewels and freak out for the entire night.
Also the official podcast of people who wear hoodies with shorts because it's that time of year.
I like that.
Don't you love that? Don't you love when it's 30 degrees in the morning? I mean, I don't know what your process is when you wake up in the morning, but I wake up at 2:30 to leave for work. So the last 2 days, it's been 34 degrees when I walk out my house. But then by the time I get to doing something at work, it's 75. So I need a whole nother outfit.
Yeah. Welcome to Louisiana. No, I mean, my morning is pretty laid back, to be honest. I get up because I work from home. I get up at I get up at 7 because my daughter wakes up. Mm-hmm. But the only time I step foot outside is Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, unless I'm just feeling frisky and want to go outside.
Feeling frisky?
Yeah. But yeah, and I'm normally outside 9 a.m., so it's already starting to warm up a little bit.
Every time, it's been a while since people have talked about it, but when wanting the Saints to get a new stadium was a big deal, I was always like, no, please no, because what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to bring an extra, a backpack with another set of another outfit in it?
No, miserable.
There's no way.
I can remember as a kid growing up, I used to go to work with my dad. We were talking about this before we started recording, actually. My dad does construction. And I would go to work with my dad during these months. And just like you said, he was construction work, get up at 4 a.m. sometimes, 5 a.m. It's fucking cold. It's 30 degrees, 40 degrees. So he's going in sweats, hoodies, whatever, jeans. And he would always bring a change of clothes because, working in the sun, it gets up to 70, 75, 80. You're sweating your butt off.
I keep it always. Actually, in my locker at work, I keep 3 outfits just because. I
feel you.
It's miserable, man. But yeah, I couldn't imagine having to go to an outdoor game here. You could get there and it'd be sunny as can be, and then it just rains out of nowhere, or it'd be 50 degrees when you get to the game, and then all of a sudden it's 100.
Yeah, I tell you what, traveling for games, I've only traveled to one football game, traveled to a couple baseball games, but being in an outdoor stadium when it's miserable outside is not fun.
No.
It's not something I want to do constantly. Kudos to those fans, those hardcore fans Green Bay, or Foxborough, where they're outside without a shirt on, Buffalo.
I don't even think that's something I want to experience.
No.
Yeah, it looks cool, but no thank you.
Dude.
We did the, I don't know if we and you have talked about this or not, but remember, the Saints-Cowboys Thanksgiving game where, Malcolm Jenkins punched the ball out?
Do I remember that?
Yeah, so we were there. I think we have talked about it on here, but that was Thanksgiving Day, and it was snowing before the game outside.
Yeah. And
I was like, this is even just a tailgating in the snow. I was like, this is terrible. Yeah. I don't want any part of it.
No thanks. I wake up sometimes because I work remote, and the people I work with are all around the United States. And, you talk to weather or whatever, small talk, which is nonsense in itself, by the way. Anybody who starts with the weather, you probably have nothing to talk about. Love you guys. Sorry. But no, so talk about the weather, and I'll be like, God damn, it's 40 degrees by you right now, and you're sitting on your back porch. Why?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That 50 degrees is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I feel that. Perfect. Wow, we just ranted about weather for...
That's how you know... Hey, that's what you do when you ain't got nothing to talk about.
Right? That's what I was going to say. For the first 10 minutes of the podcast, weather talk. Welcome, guys.
We got nothing today.
Yeah. Hey, yo. It's weather talk with Patty and Dave.
And that was episode 12. Everybody.
Mm-hmm. See you next time.
Man.
No, we got some shit to talk about, man. There's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. There's some good stuff again. I didn't have an order that I wanted to go in. I think we could jump off at something else that I was actually intrigued by earlier that's kind of gone viral. The two guys that, and I haven't mentioned this to you at all. You probably saw it on Twitter. The two guys, the Locked On Warriors.
I just tweeted about it. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you saw the video?
I saw. So I have you, Ethan, set to
like
notifications.
Thank you.
So like throughout the day, I'll if I'm busy, I see you pop up multiple times. I'm like, all right, later in the day, I got to go back and see. Especially if it's a day where we're going to be recorded, I need to see what you're talking about. So I saw you, and I finally went and read what you put. And you ever do this thing on Twitter where like you see a video you want to watch, but like you can't listen to it at the moment, so you like it, so you just can go back later.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I went back and listened to it. And
Yeah, it's funny because like I watched it and like after I watched it, I was like, you know what? Fuck you. You're talking to me right now. I don't like this. Like,
oh yeah, I
Who the hell
tweeted
are
at
you?
them. Like I quoted it. Ed put their
good,
Twitter handles. 'Cause
good. I wouldn't look
always
them up.
I'm always down for some smoke. I'm sure they won't reply, but
Oh, probably not. I'm sure they're getting the heat.
you know what
from a lot
bothers
of
me
places.
about that? Well, number one, who are they to like gatekeep the podcast world? Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I don't know about you, but I listen to podcasts for entertainment.
Yeah,
There's not a whole lot of. There might be one or two that I listen to for like information, but even then, it's like an entertaining way they do it. And then number three, their podcast is a copy and paste of 29 other podcasts on
Right.
that network.
word.
So, and no disrespect to like the Pelicans one, because I've listened to that one and it's a good podcast.
It is. It's entertaining.
Right.
And I totally agree. Like I'm the same way. And to be honest, I've started more lately. I never even used to listen to podcasts.
That's all I listen to.
First of all, so let's get that out of the way. But second of all, there's a couple things I want to touch on here. If I want real, like factual information, I'm probably just going to scour Twitter for like some reliable source and then see what they have to say about it. Like I'm not going to listen to a random podcast. I'm not going to even listen to those guys' podcasts, even if they're accredited writers. I don't give a shit.
That's what I said about Twitter. I was like, I'm not a Warriors fan, so I'll never listen to your podcast.
Yeah, I just don't care. And then on top of that, like you said, they're gatekeeping. Like I think I responded and I was like, this is such an old head take, right? Like get with the modern times, first of all. Like people aren't coming to your podcast looking for that hard hitting, like, I don't know, like analytical piece on why Steph Curry is the best shooter. Or maybe they are. That'd kind of be a fun topic. But
Even if they are, like, that's fine. Like, their podcast can be that. But you can't tell me there's not a place for just entertainment.
there absolutely is.
And then,
that's why
and then
people
on top of
listen
that,
to,
like you said, like, who's to say they know?
oh yeah,
Who's to say they know more than me or you? You know what I mean? Like that's like the whole thing where all these guys, like I'm sure you see it on like social media all the time. Like anybody who plays sports, not anybody, but a lot of people that have played sports in the past, just automatically assume they know more than people who haven't.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so like,
But I respect that more than
at least you
these
played
two
it.
random bozo. Or one of them actually seemed kind of respectable. I'll
yeah,
be
the one on
honest.
the right kind of
Yeah,
seemed like he was like, I wish you wouldn't have went there.
But the other guy who, and I even said it on Twitter, like his background was in like extreme sports, which I don't know if he's ever done, but he like covered it for a radio station. Like he lucked into working at a radio station and then becoming a writer. Like cool,
Yeah.
good for you, man. I'm glad that you have a career. That's awesome that you have connections. You can miss me with the talk you're putting out right now though. Like it's not landing.
And if you go to their podcast and scroll down, it gives you like all the suggested ones. There's like 10 other Warriors podcasts. You telling me, according to him, none of like any of those that are just fans aren't better than theirs? I guarantee you, there's 2 or 3 that are better than his. I guarantee because number one, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy I want to listen to.
No, I'm going to be honest. And this doesn't really go with his point, but I'm going to listen to the Draymond Green podcast before I listen to his podcast because it's going to be 10 times more entertaining than anything he's got to put out.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyways, fun thing to start with, right? Something that riled me up
I would
earlier.
love for them to tweet back though.
That'd be
I
fun.
would love it because I'm always ready for some smoke.
Oh, I am too. I'll randomly comment on things and then have people like I told you guys last night. This is totally unrelated. Disco Inferno, for anybody who knows who Disco Inferno is, randomly tweeted last night about something that happened in wrestling. There was a wrestler that got injured doing a relatively safe move, but Disco decided to show another move from the match and say, oh, it's no wonder that people doing this type of stuff would then get hurt later. And I was like, how is that even remotely related? Can you explain this to me like I'm 5? Which he actually did respond to me and try and like explain to me like I was 5, which I appreciated. But just logically it didn't make sense to me. Anyways, none of this really matters, but what I'm getting at is the same thing. Like, I will respond to whatever the fuck I don't agree with. I'll do it respectfully. I'll do it with a logical argument, and I'm super open, even to you guys listening to me. I'm going to say some wild shit sometimes. I am super open to going back and forth. Like, I'll agree to disagree, which doesn't happen often. Normally I can find middle ground. But yeah, that's my rant. I just went through that for no reason.
Yeah. I got nothing for you there, but
Cool. We're going to lead off the show tonight. Well, this isn't really a lead off.
By the way, I'm on my phone because I'm checking these bets that I got going. But anyway, I'm also trying to keep track of the subjects we talk about ahead of time so that it saves me time later in the editing process, since this is coming out later than expected.
Yeah, recording on Friday. The Pels game just wrapped up. We're going to get to that in a little while. But what I want to lead with tonight is Tulane. We have been big Tulane advocates, and it seems like actually a lot of people are coming out of the woodworks all of a sudden with like supporting Tulane, which kudos, good, love it, more eyes on them. But I mean, we've been doing the whole like rank the wave thing for a couple weeks now, and like really trying to push that, and it seems like it's picked up. Anyways, Tulane's fucking ranked.
Right.
We're a whole week later here. Like it's been a minute since we recorded. The Saints have played twice since we recorded last, which is wild. But Tulane's ranked, man. Number 25. You know who's not ranked?
LSU.
LSU.
That's right.
LSU.
Feels good.
Feels phenomenal. I'm going to be honest. My friends, like, all right, so this probably has a lot to do with it, but there was a conversation I was having one night with one of my buddies. We had a couple drinks, and he compared an LSU quarterback. I'm not even going to go super deep into the names. He compared an LSU quarterback to Joe Burrow in the potential career track. And I thought it was wild. I just went in. And we had a long, heated conversation, and somebody else jumped in, and they're like, well, you hate LSU, so that's not even fair for you to have this discussion. And I was offended. I was like, I don't hate LSU. I'm just not a fan. I now get, because of comments I just made where I'm like, fuck you. Like, you're not even ranked. I get why they think I hate LSU. But I don't
Well, I've
LSU,
openly said on here that I do.
I don't.
But I do. I think I'm able to say that, but still look at the team and be like, all right, this player's good. This player's good. The team is good. The team is bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm a Miami fan.
Mm-hmm.
I will go to my grave that the 2001 Miami Hurricanes are the best college football team of all time. But to this day, I always say, because the 2019 LSU team is unreal. And I'll say the only team that has an argument against me is LSU.
Yeah.
Like, if you sit here and tell me LSU is the best, I won't even argue with you because, okay. But I still don't like this. I hate your team.
Yeah. No,
but I
agree.
can admit your team was good.
I agree. I think, and I think not right now, but I think there's definitely a discussion to be had there, because I think, my opinion, I think the 2019 LSU team is probably the best college football team of all time. But there's a lot to be said for Miami and their run, even surrounding those years. LSU didn't do that. We can leave that out. I want to circle back to Tulane, because this is Tulane talk. This is not LSU talk. Tulane is having a homecoming game tomorrow. They're ranked number 25. They're playing on ESPN2. Whatever. They've played on ESPN2 before. Playing Memphis. Big game. The stadium's damn near sold out.
Saw that.
Like, it is a phenomenally, like, this thing is set up to be storybook, right? Like, it looks great. Do you have it? Have you looked into, because I did it right before you got here, have you looked into anything as far as this game goes? Do you have any thoughts? Anything
Nope.
you want to see?
I want to see him win.
Well, of course.
I don't know. I'm not going into any of these games with expectations.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but like, I didn't come into the season thinking they were going to be that good.
No.
So honestly, like, you're bowl eligible. Like, it's just lanyap almost from here out.
the whole rank the wave thing, to be completely honest, the only reason I started using that hashtag was because I forget who it was. Maybe it was Mason. It was somebody on Twitter randomly was like, "Rank the wave, you cowards." You might have even said it too at one point. And this was a while back.
I would say.
This was a while back when they weren't even like maybe could have been ranked. I never thought they would continue to win and actually be ranked. Even coming into this week, I was like, oh no, they'll drop somebody else out and then like they'll put in. I forget. It was a big.
Well, we did. You said that last week that you didn't think that would be the game.
I didn't. I thought
especially because of the way they
more.
played that game.
Yeah.
Like if I think I said that if they had gone in and like handled business like they were supposed to, that they would be ranked. But it was a close game.
It was close, but they did put it away. They put it away
for the most part of the game. It was relatively. It was closer than it should have been for longer than it should have been. I guess I don't know.
No,
but,
I totally agree.
I think both of us we agreed though that if they beat Memphis, then they would be ranked.
Yeah.
So we thought by next week if they won.
For sure. I definitely did. And it's kind of funny too, looking back, like how the hell did they lose to Southern Miss? Like I have no idea, which is kind of what I was going to get into.
Football, man.
You're not
especially
wrong.
new age college football. Like these mid-level, I guess Southern Miss probably isn't like a mid-level team.
No, I mean, well, they're Conference USA, but you could say, Tulane's,
Like I look at Tulane as like that the group of 5 conferences as like the mid-level team. Like those teams, because of like the transfer portal and NIL and stuff like that, like those teams are getting better.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I mean, you got the guys at the big programs that aren't starting or aren't playing,
right.
And instead of them sticking around for 4 years, they're transferring to these schools, which is great. I mean, it's been great for Tulane. Tulane has really benefited from that.
It's only better.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. And Will Hall is the head coach there now. He actually came from Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be rivals, Southern Miss and Tulane, like a big history there between the programs. I mean, Tulane used to be in Conference USA. Like it's just
they have good players too. At Southern Miss, Miami played them, and they have Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah.
And they have a receiver. I don't remember his name, but when they played Miami, I was like, can this guy just transfer to Miami right now? Because he'd be the best receiver we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tulane. So they play Memphis. Is Memphis ranked?
Memphis is not ranked. I was looking into Memphis.
Cincy's the only other one that's ranked.
Are they ranked? I'd have to look.
Conference. I think they're 20 and Tulane's 25.
Which is interesting because Tulane is technically ranked number 1 in the conference right now.
Are they?
I think because of conference
well, this
record.
was before the outcome of the ECU game.
Yeah.
They were showing that Cincy was ahead, but the game wasn't over yet. So maybe once they won, it was.
They're probably tied. To be honest, they're probably
all I know is they still play the next like 3 best teams.
Yeah,
in the conference.
Yeah. I mean, Tulane definitely doesn't have a cakewalk of a schedule in front of them as far as conference play goes. They still have SMU, they still have UCF, Memphis. Memphis is always a tough game for them. But no, this week Memphis is not ranked. I think Memphis is like 4-3. So like, I mean, they haven't had like a great year. I even looked into 4-3. They're 2-2 in the conference. One thing I wanted to see, though, the one concern I have with Tulane, it's not their offense. I know some people would be like, oh, the offense hasn't been as good. I think the offense is starting to roll. They're getting better. I always trust Willie Fritz offense in general. I love Michael Pratt. We've talked about that a lot. I think they've really found some things with Tajay Spears. What's the guy? There's a wide receiver they have, Deuce Watts. Who's fucking mossing people week after week, which actually, Deuce Watts, thanks for retweeting me. I appreciate it. If you're seeing this ever. But no, the one thing I do have kind of pause with or concern with is the run defense. So I always like look into the upcoming opponent, like how good is their run game? So that's the first thing I looked at with Memphis, and it's not very great. Like Memphis, what was it? Memphis rush offense is... I don't know. I lost it. 79th? Yeah. So not like super worrisome heading in, but that's always the area I'm going to be concerned with because it seems like so far this year, I mean, their pass defense has been like top 6, top 7 all year. They've really shut down some good quarterbacks. So I think for me, all I'm worried about coming into this game is like a letdown game, you know? Do they let the emotion get to them? It's homecoming. It's a massive game. They're finally ranked.
Is it a letdown game though? If you're playing a decent team, I feel like the letdown game would be losing to a Southern Miss.
Yeah, no.
Like if they lost this game, I think that's reasonable.
I mean, I agree that it's reasonable, but I think at this point, like, you believe in yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course. I don't think when you say letdown game, I look at it as if they lose this game, like a letdown game, we'll be like, damn, the season's kind of over.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, how as a head coach do you manage expectations right now? Because I think coming into this year, now obviously I'm not connected to the program in any way. Maybe this is what those Locked On Warriors guys are talking about, right? Like, you don't have connections, you don't know. Obviously, I'm not connected to them in any way. I don't know what the expectations were coming into this year, but you got to think if they weren't even almost thinking they were going to be a top 25 team, much less bowl eligible. 6-7 games into the year. Like, in my opinion, they already exceeded expectations, right? They weren't even in a bowl game last year. They went 2-10.
Right.
So how do you now manage new expectations mid-year? What are your expectations? For me, I want it all.
Yeah,
I want Cotton
course.
Bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
of course. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say what expectations are when they've already exceeded them. I mean, like I said, it's really just like obviously you don't want to lose out from here. You lose out from here, that sucks.
Oh yeah,
that's a letdown.
Yeah.
But
that's like looking at like I think USF did that.
Yeah,
like a couple years ago they were ranked. They were like on top of the world, and then they went and lost like their next 4 games, and they've been like terrible ever since.
So now you're like, I don't know, man. You said they do a conference championship, right?
They do. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the goal here. Like anything short of that now feels like a letdown.
That's fair.
Like if you lose, because even if you like setting expectations, if you lose this game, the first thing you say is it's not the end of the world. We just said you play the top 3 teams in the conference,
right? So
like you almost control your own path. Memphis is 4-3. That makes Tulane what 6-2 if they lose.
Yeah, and Memphis is 2-2 in the conference. So I mean they're not even really in the conference.
So that makes you 6-2. You're still ahead of Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
You're right behind Cincy. You still have to play Cincy, and I don't remember who was 4th.
I could look it up.
I think I said during the ECU game. They didn't play ECU. Was it USF they just played?
Yeah, they just played USF.
That's what. Yeah, that's what. So I mean, that's to me. That's the goal. And then if you make it and don't win it, oh well. That's not like.
Right. Yeah. No. So right now, to circle back, Tulane is in first in the conference, but it's because they have 3 wins to everybody else's 2. You have UCF and Cincy sitting at 2-0 in the conference. They're both 5-1. Yeah. And you still have UCF coming up. Do they play Cincy this year?
I thought that's what. Maybe they don't. I didn't look at the schedule, but I thought that's what they were trying to get across on the broadcast was that they still have to play the top 3 teams. They still
have some, like SMU is always going to be tough, right? Like,
yeah.
I know they still have SMU and they still have UCF. Let's look at the remainder here. Tulsa, UCF, SMU, and Cincy.
So they finished with Cincy?
They finished with Cincy.
That could be
25 versus 21.
So there's a chance they play Cincy back-to-back?
There's a chance they play Cincy back-to-back, depending how it goes. That could be fun, too, if both those teams are rolling coming into that game and you have 2 AAC powerhouses ranked 17 and 19. You know what I mean?
And you see that, like, we've talked about it a couple of times, but this is where the, 12-team playoff starts to get interested. Like, yeah, if Tulane or Cincy gets in, well, we saw it with Cincy. Like, they wouldn't win the playoffs. But, right now, you're 25. Tulane wins out. Getting top 12 with the way college football is not, an outlandish thought.
Yeah.
So then if you had a 12-team playoff, you're like, Tulane might be able to make a playoff.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. And
it doesn't matter, but hey.
Let's not go back and see what I said about the college football playoff. Because as a Tulane fan, I'm like, no, yeah, fuck, let's do it.
And then if you somehow manage to get high enough, Tulane gets to host a college football playoff game.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
I'm there. No, I was dead serious, too. On Twitter, I said, whatever bowl game Tulane ends up in, let's get those plane tickets ready because
well, you saw my conundrum that
I'm in. Yeah, that's fine. Let's listen. Tulane, Miami.
I don't know how to handle that situation.
You're a Miami fan. It's okay.
I am a Miami and Tulane fan. My fandom is equal.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So
I didn't know that was possible.
I mean, it is. It's not. I think it's a little bit easier in college football because they don't ever play each other.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not like I don't know how else to explain it, but I mean, I could make me a shirt some kind of way, like split half and half. It's literally just there for the vibes.
Don't be that guy. It's like I gave my buddy so much shit Sunday because he's wearing a LSU Joe Burrow jersey. That's different.
I
went up to meet
That's
him
different.
In his section he's in, and as soon as I walk up to him, he's got the Burrow jersey on. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
That's different. He's not a fan of the Bengals.
No, he's not. And that was his argument. He was like, it's his first time back in the dome since winning the Natty.
I still don't agree
that.
I still don't like that they did that.
I was like, fuck that. But you got to respect that.
It's definitely a different situation than what I'm talking about. Like, I am a legit fan of both these teams since I was born. So it's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do. It's literally just go there and I can't lose.
That's true. It's a win-win. I mean, it's honestly, even as a Tulane fan in that environment, I don't lose.
That bowl game specifically, getting to watch that in Fenway would be fucking
I would
awesome,
have a blast. I wouldn't care. Tulane could lose by 40. I mean, I don't want that, but like.
I don't know about you. Personally, I've never been to Fenway.
I haven't actually.
And if you told me my first experience in Fenway would be Tulane LSU football.
Tulane Miami.
Tulane Miami.
But there is a world that I'm praying that Tulane gets to play LSU in a.
I don't know that it ends well for Tulane.
I don't think it ends well for Tulane either. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like,
any given Saturday,
Tulane played well against Kansas State. Like, they played really well.
When you have a defense as good as Tulane, you have a chance.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think that a team like LSU too. I don't want to keep covering LSU, but a team like LSU is so hot and cold. It's like it's difficult to know. Right. With them, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not really a Brian Kelly fan, so we'll see how that turns out for them. But
no, I mean, I think my thing with LSU is just looking at like fan reactions on Twitter. Like, haven't they only lost like 1 or 2 games?
They've lost 2 games. Yeah.
So overall, it's been a decent season, but no fan seems like happy about it.
Well, no, it's because the expectations for a team like LSU is national championship or bust. Like that's always the goal coming into the season, even unrealistically. Like. That's why it's so much more fun for a Tulane fan or last year a Pelicans fan when there's no expectations and you just feel that shit come together and you just have that really special run, even if you lose. You lose in the first round of the playoffs last year like the Pelicans did. It's still fun and special because you had no expectations. It just is what it is.
The flip side of that is the Saints.
It's the fucking Saints, yeah. All right, so we had fun. You want to get sad for a second? Do you want to talk? There's some Saints stuff we could talk about.
I'll tell you what I want to do. I don't care about these individual games anymore.
That's fair.
At this point. Like, until they show me, it is literally the same game every week.
Yeah.
It is. It's the same problems we talked about.
Well, the offense is scoring more now, but yeah.
But it feels like it's the same thing. Either bad penalties or they get a lead and then they blow it because the defense sucks. It's the same problems over and over. Like, I'm just tired of talking about the same thing. Like, how much can you harp on the defense sucks or we turn the ball over too much, whether it be interceptions or we fix the fumble problem. Now Andy Dalton can't not throw an interception.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Like, it's unbelievable, dude.
It's one of those things where, like, I'm one of those fans where when the shit goes wrong, I laugh because I just don't know what else to do. You throw the first pick six. And I'm like, damn, that sucks. Like, Marquez, what are you doing, man? Catch the fucking ball. And then the second one happens, and I'm just like, what? All right.
It's like, I felt so good. After that first touchdown pass, and I tweeted it after the game, like, we should have known. As soon as the big play happened at the beginning, it was only downhill from there.
Yeah, man.
But I was like, all right.
Yeah.
We might be onto something. And then he never sees the field again. And what's pissing me off about the Saints is like the overall like direction the team is in now, because it's like what everything that's happened like this offseason specifically, like how much it set us back.
Yeah,
because it starts with Sean Payton. And I've said this over and over again. I've made it very clear I don't have any love for him right now. Like, thank you for everything you did, but he set us up. He spent years neglecting, like, setting us up for the future. He said Mahomes was the best quarterback he's ever seen. Didn't want to trade up for him to go get him, but he would trade up for Davenport. Passed on Lamar. Passed on Jalen. Passed on all these quarterbacks we could have had to set us up for a few. Didn't even take a chance on anybody. Like not even like maybe there was a third or fourth round guy every now and then, but he didn't try to set us up for the future there. He neglected setting up or improving the weapons we had on offense, and it got too tough for him, and he bailed. And then, so that's the first thing. Then, secondly, you got the front office does this sham of a head coaching search. Everybody knows that was not a real. Like, what did they talk to Eric Bieniemy about for 8 hours?
I don't care.
Like,
did you want Bieniemy?
I didn't want Dennis Allen.
I mean, that's fair. Like,
I don't know how you feel. I don't want a defensive head coach.
I don't
so
really
much.
either. Doesn't seem.
If they did,
to
I'd prefer Brian Flores over Dennis Allen because I thought he was more of like somebody that can run a team.
Yeah.
Like you could see with Dennis, like we talked about it last week, the way Mark Ingram just like that nonchalant answer to Sean on Kay Adams' show.
It wasn't a good look.
Right. Like it doesn't seem. And then then his interview on the sideline last night, where it's just like
I missed that, but I heard.
You should just he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Like he seems like he has no clue what is going on. So they do this sham of a head coaching search, and then they go all in on a team that they feel is gonna win now. And you can't. Like I don't want to criticize him too much because at the time I was like, all right, you load up on all these guys. Yeah. You just need average quarterback play. But it's like you did all these moves. We're fans. We can agree or disagree, whatever. Their job is to be right on that.
No, absolutely.
So you did all that and went all in and on this year, and you couldn't have been more wrong.
Right. And
because of that, now the Eagles could possibly win a Super Bowl and have a top 5 pick, which is unbelievable.
It is what it is. Like,
and I mean,
I don't blame that's a whole nother thing.
But
like,
it's
just
like
what it is.
You could have. It's just you threw the future. You made us the second oldest team in the league. Like we're so, they're going the opposite direction of where they are. Like if they were a team that could win now, then it's fine. But they're clearly not.
They're not. I mean I agree they're not, right? It's tough. It's you're in a tough situation. I'll be honest there. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say
54 million over the cap, and everybody can say the cap doesn't matter, but these bad contracts, like maybe it doesn't catch up to them eventually, but it does affect what they can do.
Certainly,
year to year.
Certainly,
like the only way out of it is I mean you trade play. Like I don't want to be the person that says trade everything. Because, like, I don't want to trade Outman.
You can't trade everything, though, in a sense. Like, there are certain rules, unless you can get the other team to actually take on that money. Like, there are certain rules where you're going to harm your cap more by trading away certain players.
You're either gonna free up the cap space because they'll eat the contract, or you're going to get the picks. So it's I mean, they do have enough, like, young players that they could probably find a way to balance that out. But you don't want to trade away everybody because you do have good young players.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they do have a couple that they could.
I think you get to a point where you're not necessarily. I think it's mutually beneficial, right? You get to a point where you're going to start trading some of these older guys, not necessarily younger guys, but some of the guys that are like still really good, like Michael Thomas. Like yes, he's injured
That's
right
fine.
now. I don't want to say he's injury prone. I feel bad saying that.
Just that, like, I don't want to cut you off, but Michael Thomas specifically, like, he seems like one that you would try to move off of, especially because you have his replacement in the building. But like, dude, his value is never as low. Like, it is the lowest it is ever going to be.
Here's the thing, and this is kind of the point I was getting at, right? Like, I don't want to trade Michael Thomas.
Right.
I don't.
You don't want to trade. You really don't want to trade anybody.
No, I don't. But it gets to a point where I think it's mutually beneficial, like even for him, where he should see the writing on the wall, which he probably already does. Let's be real. Where it's like, hey, this team's not really going anywhere right now. Like, I don't know, maybe you have rose-colored glasses on like you think it is, but this team's not really going anywhere right now. Can you trade me? And the team's like, well, yeah, like it would help us. Yeah, exactly.
It's the same exact thing. Like AK, they said AK. Like,
is that what your tweet was about? Because I thought it might have been about AK.
What?
Yesterday, you were like, if insert player name.
Oh, yeah, it was AK.
Yeah. Oh, it was AK?
Yeah.
Damn, When you said that, I was like, I don't know if I trade Kamara.
And I see a lot of people saying, and I don't like. He is on my list of people I wouldn't. But there's a certain price where I would trade anybody.
Yeah. I was going to say that. I didn't know you were going to say anybody.
What they got for McCaffrey, that resets your whole in a year. That sets up your whole future.
Here's my take, and I say this a lot. I don't think I've ever said this on this podcast, or maybe I somewhat did. My goal every offseason from here on out is to get a franchise quarterback. I don't give a shit how you do it. I don't care if you have scrubs around him.
Yeah.
Like, you get a franchise quarterback and then you figure it out.
And this is something Nick Underhill says a lot on his podcast, and he's been saying it for years, and I agree with him. You should draft a quarterback every year. That doesn't necessarily mean draft him in the first round. At some point in the draft, you should be drafting a quarterback in case he hits.
Yeah.
At some point. Because if not, you get into this situation where it's like they didn't set us up for the future, and there's going to be people that'll say, "Oh, we had Jameis. We didn't have a franchise quarterback. You had a wild card that might turn into one." Like having Jameis was almost the equivalent of drafting a 5th or 6th round guy at that point because you don't know. I mean, it's a little more proven. So maybe like a 3rd round quarterback, essentially, is what you had.
Listen. I respect Jameis as a quarterback. I think that like going in, you hoped that he would be the guy, but like he didn't show that he was going to be the franchise guy.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like he had never, to that point, he had never shown he had never shown anything with us because he never really had the chance.
Sure.
But even from Tampa, he put up a lot of numbers, but he never proved that he would be a franchise quarterback. I mean, I don't want to say like if he did, then Tampa would have kept him because they replaced him with Brady. So, it's just like he would have had more suitors. He wouldn't have ended up in New Orleans as a backup.
That's the one thing people need to take a closer look at, that I need to take a closer look at, because coming into the season, remember, we were like, oh yeah, like we wanted to believe in Jameis. Even to this point, I still want to believe in Jameis. At this point, yes, Andy came threw for some absurd amount of numbers last night. Like, whatever, they're garbage numbers. I don't give a shit. Yeah. At this point, I'm like, okay, Andy has proven to me like he makes mistakes too. Yeah, let's get him out of there, give it back to Jameis, see what he can do.
Like, now that he's healthy. Jameis's whole thing, has not necessarily with the Saints, but just in general has been turning the ball over, and that's what that's the worry with him. I guess coming into his career with the Saints is he turns the ball over too much. So if Dalton's going to do that too, then give me the guy who can possibly make the bigger plays. Yeah, or the one that's got more upside.
Yeah, no, I agree. So then Taysom Hill, right?
Yeah. At this point, I would almost just say, "Hey,
dude." Honestly, my cousin texted me last night. He runs a big Instagram. He's actually blocked by Taysom Hill because he was such a Jameis supporter last year during the competition. But he tweeted out yesterday something in support of like, "Hey, it's Taysom time," or like, let's just give it to Taysom. And I kind of agree because like it is what it is at this point. Like, fuck it.
I do want Jameis to get another, like, now that, because we've said it before, like Andy still hasn't shown us anything that shows he deserves to keep the job.
Yeah, no.
Like if you were winning games, then okay, but like you're not winning games, your numbers aren't astronomical. Mm-mm. Like at this point, I'd rather see Jameis come back. Like if he's healthy, put him back in.
If he's healthy and he comes back and you immediately go back to like 3 and out, and then fourth quarter you put up 20 points, and then the next game, fourth quarter, you throw 3 interceptions. Like, if it's the same thing you saw.
That tells you all you need to know about him.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this year, that's like, I know that we're nowhere near out of, like, the playoff.
Just crazy.
But
we don't deserve
like, this year is a wash. This year is about figuring out what you have. Like, you're in full evaluation mode right now.
Yeah.
Because whether people want to believe it or not, that fire sale is probably coming.
It probably is. And I didn't want to admit it last offseason because I was, like you kind of said, I was on board with the retread. I was like, okay, maybe it works. It has not worked, which I would like to also call out. I was talking to my wife last night while we were watching the game, and she's so sweet. She works at a salon out here, and DA's wife comes into the salon sometimes, so she's got a bias for the family to an extent. Like she doesn't even know them, but like she just knows of them, and she's in close proximity to the wife. So I'm there just like, man, Dennis Allen doesn't look good. Like he might get fired after this year, blah, blah, blah. And she's defending him. She's like, well, is it his fault or is it the GM's fault? And I was like, I mean, it's both.
And that's, you know what, dude, that's kind of what I was trying to get at earlier when I was saying like what happened. The one person who is getting off way too easy right now
is Mickey, right?
Is Mickey.
And
he made the decision.
I love Mickey,
right.
But like, I think the thing is Mickey and Sean did everything together, and now Sean's gone, and now it's Mickey's turn to prove himself, which he's proved himself all the time with restructuring these deals and making the money work.
Even then, they tell you that Kai Hartley is the guy that does that, and
they tell you he is. I
believe
could
it.
Be.
I've seen it. I mean, even Mickey says it.
Okay.
So I've seen it, and I've seen it a couple times on Twitter. People saying it like maybe it's time for Mickey not to let go of Mickey, but have him take like a president role, something.
Yeah.
And because you don't want to, if he's the brains behind it, you don't want to lose him.
No.
Now maybe, I mean, I don't fully understand what goes into being a GM, so maybe that's like the only thing he's really good at is the numbers part.
That's the thing. Like, is Mickey the negotiator and Kai's the numbers guy? Like,
well, I mean, if Mickey's the negotiator, like as far as trades, he seems to be getting fleeced a lot.
Well, I don't mean trades, but yeah, that's a fair point.
I mean. Like there's other guys like Jeff Ireland is very good at finding talent in the draft.
I agree. That's something I was going to say earlier when you were kind of talking about we're getting old. I mean, our drafts have been pretty solid. Even last year's draft.
They had a couple. The Troutman draft. Yeah. Well, but now Ruiz he's had a good year.
Okay. Yeah, so he's getting every game. Who was it? I think Bushrod may have tweeted it out. Somebody, a former player, was like, "Hey, I'm seeing this tweet every week where it's like, oh, this is Ruiz's best game as a Saint."
It's just tough, man. It's such a bad, like, to be this old, you're going to have some bad contracts. That Tyron contract is going to be awful.
How many years did he get?
3. And it's like a $12 million cap hit on the last year.
Here's the thing. Everybody's hating on Tyron, rightfully so. Like, what did we think we were getting?
I don't think I don't think anybody thought, so I'll speak for me. I didn't think I was getting LSU Tyron, obviously.
Well, no.
But I thought you'd at least get, like, he might as well not even be out there. Yeah. Like, he's not around the play ever, and if he is, he's missing the tackle. Like, at least put up effort.
He's Marcus Williams.
No.
He is literally playing the same role, a step slower. I'll give you that. But he's literally doing the same stuff. Marcus Williams couldn't tackle worth shit.
But at least I've seen Marcus Williams throw his body into people and try. Like,
I've seen Tyron do that. He just doesn't actually succeed at it.
And for the mistakes Marcus would make, he'd find a way to make up for it and make a play in another way. Marcus
Williams was a little bit more, I mean, he's younger, but he was a little bit more rangy and able to, and maybe that's what it is, that Tyron's like a little bit older and he doesn't realize he's a step slower.
I don't view Tyron as a Marcus Williams. I view Tyron more as a Malcolm Jenkins, CJ kind of role, because that's how coming into the league, that's what he was.
He's like a cross between the two.
Yeah, he's not fully that, because like we said, he's small.
Right.
So he's not going to throw his body around like they are, but I don't know, he's a playmaker. That is what he's
got one interception on the year. I mean,
he's got the only interception on
exactly.
the year.
Like, so that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, has he played great? No.
But you used to see him like when there was a pile, like, or somebody fighting for extra yards, he would go into the pile and start trying to rip. Like, he would try to make more plays. Now it seems like he's hanging outside the pile, like maybe waiting for a ball to pop. I don't know.
Is that coaching?
I don't know.
Or is that him?
I think
it is him to an extent. But like, I think that, and that's a thing that I'm kind of getting at. And I was explaining this to my wife when she was asking me whose fault it is. And I was talking about the team being undisciplined, and I was kind of putting the blame back on Dennis Allen. The team doesn't seem to have any fire at all. They just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And there's a major reflection of that in the head coach when you throw 2 pick sixes before the half and you give the most ho-hum, we'll get them next time, Tiger. Like,
Sean Payton wouldn't even took that interview.
No.
He wouldn't even look. He'd have been like, what are you thinking?
And I'm not saying you have to be a dick to the media or be angry in that interview, but there are 10,000 other things you could have said.
It's what's frustrating to me is Sean spent years building a culture, and it feels like Dennis Allen is letting it fall apart in half a season.
That my argument to my wife was, because I brought up that interview, I was like, this isn't high school football. This isn't even college football. You are paid to do your job. There is no, we'll get him next time.
And you know what? If this was his first head coaching job, maybe I'd be like, all right, it's his first year. He's kind of learning. No, we've seen it. Like, and I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt when they hired him. I was like, all right, Oakland was
I did too.
a bad scenario. Like, this team is loaded. And the other part is, and I want to take last night away from it because of all the injuries. Like, the defense hasn't been good, but when you're giving Chris Harris like legit playing time, like
it's tough. I mean,
it's tough. It's just like, if you're a defensive head coach, your defense cannot be this bad. It just can't. Like, I would have understood a little bit of regression because you're going from just focusing on them to, the overall team. So a little regression, I understand. And the defense has been so good, they were due for somewhat of a step back eventually, just because players are getting older. It's just like, dude, you gotta. I don't know.
I think I almost defend the defense a little bit here because of the injuries, which I don't like to make excuses. I'm not an excuse guy at all. I mean, your record is who you are. If you're last in the league in turnovers and penalties, like, that's who you are, regardless of who's on the field.
I said it before. I think the Saints are worse than their record says they are.
They're talent wise, they're not, but yeah, I mean,
I honestly, I don't think we're as talented as we think we are.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's me being a homer.
Well, no, I don't think it's you're being a homer. Like, the name value wise, yeah, but Cam's older. Like, Cam was starting to fall off last year. Then he caught COVID and became a superhuman at the end of the year. You know what I mean?
He still looks solid.
He looks okay, but but I don't know. You just got like all these, like, Davenport's expected to. Every time he's been on the field, he's been good up until this year. This year is like, it's like nobody. Onyemata's kind of fallen off.
Onyemata's definitely fallen off.
Like, there's really only been Sean, Pete, and DeMario have been really the only consistent. Sean's been on another planet.
Yeah.
And
so
Pete
is,
too.
So is
Pete
too.
too.
Yeah. Pete's been good, man.
But it's just
I'll admit I'm kind of ready to mail it in. I am ready to mail it in for this year.
I went to sleep at halftime, or like right after halftime.
I went to the gym at halftime.
I
said fuck it. I left
5-6 years ago. Never would I have done that.
No, me either. Yeah. I mean, I watched it while I was at the gym. I had my little phone sitting there. I was working out, whatever.
I was going to bed. The only reason I woke back up is because my phone blew up because Christian McCaffrey got traded.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. We're 45 minutes in, and we haven't talked about the team that really matters.
Yeah. We can talk about that.
I
told you we were going to go fun, sad, fun again.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, just to put a bow on the Saints, it's just like the season is a wash, and that's kind of what I say. I don't want to talk about them anymore. Like, yeah, they could turn it around magically. Like, they're incredibly injured right now. Mm-hmm. There are reasons that they could be this bad. Like, maybe if they get healthy, they look better. But I don't know. I think at this point you're just in evaluation mode. You see what you got. And anybody who wants Dennis Allen gone after this year, myself included, it's not going to happen.
It could, but I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, I would be shocked. I'd be legitimately shocked.
I don't think that our staff or ownership are the type of people. Now, they did it with Stan Van Gundy on the Pelican side, which is totally different. I think that the Saints culture will not allow him to just, because he's been here too for so long, to just be like one and done.
And that's how I feel about Mickey. Like, even if I think Mickey, and I don't think Mickey should be fired. I just want to keep, like, our front office is good, and I want to keep all these people. So do whatever kind of shuffling you have to do to get people to stay. And I do think, like, I think Mickey's kind of, I don't know, I think his way of doing this whole contract thing, like, it's worked. it worked for a team that was trying to win, that was with Drew Brees and was in Super Bowl
Right.
mode.
But how do you rebuild that?
I don't think you can. And that's all I'm saying. Like, he very much could just he could change how he does things.
He could.
But even if he isn't doing a good job, he's not going anywhere. Mickey Loomis will be the GM until he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore.
The cap, much like birds, it's not real. Just saying. If you get the reference, I appreciate you.
Anyway.
One last thing to put a bow on it. I wanted to bring this up and I didn't. I put it on Twitter earlier. Taysom Hill has played 90 offensive snaps this year. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
He's got 7 touchdowns. I did the math. If he played the same amount of snaps as any of the lower tier quarterbacks, I'm talking like guys who have played like Kyler Murray's played like 500 and something snaps.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Hurts has played like 460 or something like that. Low end 350. Taysom's got 27 touchdowns. Should I start the Taysom 1 of 1 Twitter account now?
You should.
Or
my favorite question you asked was, whose contract would you rather have right now?
Yeah.
Taysom's or Russell Wilson?
Yeah, exactly.
My answer is Taysom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't put that on Twitter.
I think at this point I would take Taysom on Russell Wilson's contract. Dude, that looks bad.
In comparison to Russ?
Oh, my God. That looks so bad.
You
notice Russ has a new injury every week that they're trying to make up?
Jesus, does not look good, man. I apologize. I have a friend who's a Broncos fan, and I tweeted something about, like, how bad the Saints offense looked, and he was like, welcome to my world. I was like, no. Your world's worse than mine.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You might have a better record, but, like, trust me, your offense looks abysmal. I get it.
So,
anyway,
so
close that out. Let's talk about fun stuff.
Pels just wrapped up a little while ago.
Sure did.
Pels have played 2 games and haven't trailed for a single second.
Not a single fucking second.
One of those is against the Nets, who I don't think is good at people or as good as people think they're going to be, but there's one of the better teams in the East.
They're one of the more talented teams for sure.
They're a top 5 seed in the East.
Yeah.
Easy.
You have to respect, when it comes to the Nets, you still have to respect that they have KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. Like those are three.
I don't really respect Ben Simmons, but
those are 3 all-star caliber players.
Oh, no, I mean, any team with KD and Kyrie, point blank, you respect. It doesn't matter what else is around that.
Right.
Almost, because those two, I mean, KD can drop 50 on you no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, but anyway, haven't trailed for a single second.
Which is amazing. Phenomenal.
And they won tonight, and I'd argue, like, even B.I. said it, like, tonight was not the best game we've seen them play.
Well, we've only seen 2 games.
No, I mean, in, like, since last year when things turned around.
For sure.
Like, it wasn't.
I think tonight showed a lot, though, man. Like, tonight showed the first of all the flexibility, right?
Yeah.
Like I was trying to find the right word, but the ability to go to anyone. Like Jonas had a phenomenal game tonight. Jonas was the guy.
First off, we don't have a big 3. We have a big 4.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And our 4th option could get you 30 and 17.
Yeah, you got 4 guys on the floor.
Dude.
You got 4 guys on the floor that could pop for 30 every night, and that 5th guy, probably the best defender in the NBA. Just say it.
And really, he can get you 15, 20.
He could.
He just doesn't ever have to.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's fun to watch. It's exciting. There's some. I broke it up. I wrote it down. I broke it up. There's good things. There's bad things. Right. There's always going to be bad things too. You can nitpick. But the good things.
You know the one thing I've been frustrated with more than anything on earth.
We'll talk about that too, because I kind of have I agree with you, but I have like other feelings towards it. Pels look phenomenal, living up to the hype. We talked about that. Zion's vision, man. Like tonight, I was in and out of the game. I'll be honest, dealing with some stuff I was cooking, and then the fucking Bally. We'll get to this is one of the negatives. Bally Sports, I hate. We'll get into that. But yeah, I was in and out, so I didn't really get to see a lot of it tonight. But I did see I saw the 4th. I saw like the whole first half for the most part. Zion's vision is fucking phenomenal. He sees passes. I don't know how he sees it. Like I'm assuming he's just got such a high basketball IQ that he knows, oh, this guy collapsed. I have a guy in the corner. Yeah. I don't even see it. I'm throwing it blind.
But that's what one of my buddies said, that now Zion doesn't have to be point Zion. And I was like, dude, I want him to be. Like, his playmaking is so good.
It's phenomenal.
It's so good. Like he's up there with any point guard we have on the roster as far as playmaking ability.
It's crazy, and he can get the passes to people when it looks like there's no lane, there's no possible way the
He
ball.
hit like a crazy wraparound pass against.
I think
the
we're thinking
Nets
of
the other night.
I think we're thinking of the same pass here. Sorry, I just had a Charlie horse trying to get it before he kills me.
Yeah, dude, he's so good.
Yeah,
Like, he is so good.
yeah, he's fucking.
But he had a bad offensive night
tonight. He did
scoring wise. Everything else was still great. Playmaking, like
I have thoughts on that. So say what you're going to say, and then I'll give my rebuttal.
I don't know how I want to word this because I don't want to feel like I'm just shitting on Zion because I'm not.
Right.
It frustrates the hell out of me that he will not go to his right hand. He won't. And I've seen like other people that I respect their basketball opinions more than mine.
Mm-hmm.
That like I know are like coaches for like AAU teams and stuff like that say the same thing. Like just go to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because we've seen him do it. It's not like I've never seen him do it. I don't know if it's just his rust. Like maybe he just needs to get back into the flow of it or something. But dude, how many times you see it? Like, and he wins on it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Where he hits like a crazy left-handed layup over 2-3 people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, that kind of makes what I'm saying null and void. But then he does it 5 other times where it's just bad. It's like a forced left-handed layup where if he would just fake to the left, go to the right, anything, just go to your right.
Yeah.
I don't know, and he can do it. That's what I don't understand. He's always going to favor his left, obviously, because he's left-handed.
Right.
But he was
comfortable here.
He could go to his right, and I don't understand why he won't.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I mean, that's a mental thing. That's a comfort.
Right, and it's just
like,
frustrating me because I'm like, dude, you're getting 20 and 25 off of only go like one move. You have one move and you're getting 20 to 25.
So and
with a quick second jump and a rebound. If you could learn to go to your right, nobody is stopping you. Just do it.
my rebuttal, yes, I agree. And when he does that, oh my God, my rebuttal is it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Tonight, did it matter? It looked like it did. But if you look back through the history of Zion, which it could change because he's only played so many games. There's a lot more tape on him now. Maybe I saw a breakdown earlier where it looks like they said defenders are overplaying and they're swiping at that left hand more, and they know he's never going to go right, so they're getting more steals on him. Whatever. It's been 2 games. Until it becomes a trend, I'm not worried about it. He still gets to the rim no matter what. They can't stop. Like he still gets there.
Now when he's going downhill, I think it's different. Because usually he's blowing by somebody and he's got the step on him.
Yeah.
It's when he catches it in the post to me, and his move is just spin left, try to get like an athletic layup.
Well, see, now you're talking about.
And I've said it before where he's only played like one full season.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not a polished, like he's not at his peak yet. At some point he's going to get post moves and he's going to get these things. And I just, that just feels like a simple one where what you're doing to the left, just do to the right. Like I'm not asking you to do some crazy drop step or something, just.
That's fair.
Spin to the right. You don't even have to finish to the right. Just go to the right and then go back to your left. Do something to where you make them think you're going to go right.
My thought is, obviously, you want him to be able to post up, right? And he can. He's got a nice little drop step he goes to from time to time, and he's got some moves. Not a lot. He's not polished by any means. I think you'll see as the season goes on, though, Willie Green's barely coached the guy. He doesn't even know how to use him yet.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to say I don't think he's I don't want to come across I don't think he's a good player or something like that. So I'm saying he's just not polished at all, and it's frustrating to see. But at the same time, I'm happy you're getting 25 that way.
Yeah,
I'm just saying if you were just had this one little wrinkle to your game, and he's smart, like you just said, his basketball IQ is phenomenal. So I think by the end of the season, you'll see all of that.
Yeah,
not full post moves, but you'll see. He's gonna watch film and be like, "All right, I know what I need to do."
Exactly. But the things you're saying are the same things that have been said about Giannis for a decade or for 5 years. Not necessarily he's not he can't go to his right, this and that, but it's little things all he does is this. Okay, stop it.
Well, I understand. I see. I know what you're saying, but this is kind of like last week when I said, and it came across the wrong way, where I said he needs to get better at finishing at the rim, and you looked at me like I was crazy. Because that's not what that's not what I meant.
Like,
my point was if he could get to where Giannis is, where Giannis goes like I would love to see him get a 3-point shot or something like that, but he doesn't need it.
No.
Like if his game was just Giannis, that's great. But Giannis finishes more ways than one at the rim. I guess is what I'm trying to get across. But we didn't see Giannis do that until Giannis was that's probably the closest equivalent to Zion.
Mm-hmm. That's why I pulled that. Like, I mean, but the thing is, he's already basically there. Like, he's not. I think he's a better finisher than Giannis. He's not as polished as a finisher as Giannis.
I don't know. That's tough. That's tough for me.
But my point is, like, we're 2 games in.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like right now, I don't care. He looks
I'm
great.
not putting him. Like, I don't want to put him down at all. Like, he's looked.
Yeah.
Great.
He was fouled every time he got in the paint.
That's
they
the
didn't
other thing
call
that is the same too. Like, he doesn't always finish it, but half the time he's getting hacked and it's not even being called.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm just nitpicking. Like, the team has looked great. There's not a lot of negatives.
Yeah. And you're early on. Like I said, like, right, you're figuring shit out right now. Twitter was all over Willie Green about his damn lineups tonight. And that's like you and I think so much alike. You just say shit before I say it, and you're like, it's game 2. Like, he's just trying shit, and I was like, yeah, exactly. Like and we're playing.
Why is Willie playing?
Hornets.
Well, because Willie had a great offseason.
Yeah, like, let him play. Who cares?
Like,
you're up by 20 right now.
Yeah,
put him in the game. It's
just
fine.
because he didn't play a lot last year, and whatever. Like, people just base last year. And they're like, all right, so this person shouldn't play this year. Like, the dude just went through a whole offseason. It was a Euro League, or Euro Ball, whatever it is. But he won an MVP. That means something. He looks better.
On top of that, too, you've got 82 games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about your lineups until either we're, like, closing in on the playoffs or if we're, like, losing games. And I'm like, hey, what the hell's going on
and then
here?
Like, people still getting mad about Devontae Graham playing. Like, dude.
I don't care.
Give him as many minutes as you can.
Let him be a shooting guard. Let him play off ball.
As like a pure scorer, if Devontae Graham gets hot, there's not a lot of people on this team that can score at a higher clip than he can if he's hot.
I agree.
Like, that's a player you should want on the court to try to find his game.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we're not I saw somebody say when I put that out, like, why are people still complaining about this? Somebody, like, jokingly replied to me and said, Garrett Temple's not playing. What's the problem? Like, that's it. Like, if Garrett Temple was out there, then I'm like, all right, what are we doing? Like, I
got news for you guys. Garrett Temple is gonna play some this year. You're gonna see him on the court. Do I want that? Hell no. But, like, you're gonna see it.
But then the other thing, like, you're not just gonna sit Willie and Devontae on the bench all the time. At some point, injuries are gonna happen. Like, guys are gonna miss a couple games, and these guys are gonna be the ones to fill in. You want them to come in after not playing for the first 20 games of the season? Like, I understand you want to get Jose more minutes and Trey more minutes, like, rightfully so. But after those two, like, it should be wide open.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know people want to put Dyson in, but he's a rookie. Like, he's got to earn his.
I am fine with Dyson not playing right now. Yeah. I think, and I've said this all offseason. I said it right after we drafted him. Like, it's going to be hard to keep him off the court.
And I agree. Just defensively.
Yeah. But you're not gonna start seeing it until later in the year, I think.
Like, right now you're trying. Like, now is the time to play around with your rotations. And, like, these guys, they didn't get to play together in the preseason.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got to find his closers. He's got to find like, you're finding your situational stuff, and he's shown in the past that he'll make the changes he needs to. Yeah. It took him like a month to put Herb as a starter last year.
Well, I mean, the story is he told Grip from day one.
So there you go.
He's like, hey, I'm going to start the first practice. Like, hey, dude, I'm going to start this guy. And Griff's was like, yeah, in the summer league game, sure. And he's like, no, like in the fucking starting lineup.
Right. So he's clearly willing to do what he needs to do. It's like, dude, stop freaking out over if they were losing and this was happening. Yeah, like, maybe you have some problems with it, but, like, at no point did they even trail. I don't think it got closer than like a 6-point game.
It was like a 4-point game in the middle of the fourth. At one point, I was like, "Oh shit, damn!" Like,
it's just, I don't know. It's so frustrating.
But then
like,
Bi came in and was like, "Nah, fuck
exactly.
that. This ain't happening."
Just relax. Like, enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
it'll play itself out. Like, during the regular season, rotations are deep.
Yeah.
Like, when we get into the playoffs, you're not going to see a 10-man rotation, most likely.
You might. With this team, you might.
Yeah, and I got news for people. It's only going to get worse because you got Jackson Kyra coming back at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you got guys that are going to get playing time.
I don't see how they find minutes for them right now. We'll see.
Kyra's the one. Kyra is going to get on the court before Dyson. Because, like I said before, they have to make a decision on him.
Yeah.
So you have to. You have to see what you have. Now, they're not. I don't think they're going to force minutes for him. But he looked good when he played.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means.
At this point, it's more who you take the minutes from. Like, you don't want to take minutes from anybody. But, I mean, it always seems to play itself out, you know?
I think it'll be fine. Like you said, you're going to have some issues this year where guys are resting, whether they're injured or not. You're going to be playing other guys at times. Like, guys will get some minutes, and we'll figure it out as we go forward.
Zion is not going to play 82 games. Not saying he's going to get injured, but you're going to sit him a couple games.
Yeah.
P.I.'s not going to play.
CJ's going to sit.
And
CJ's
CJ should. Yeah, he's a vet.
Sit.
He should get his rest.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just relax. Enjoy whatever this is.
Yeah, just pray for health.
Yeah.
And ride it out. But listen, we're all fans. We're on Twitter. You're going to see the nonsense. Like, it's going to happen. We're going to have fun with it. There's going to be some hot takes every week after every game. Like, people are going to freak out about the craziest thing. Why? Like, why did Najee close out the game over Jose? Who gives a shit?
Right.
Who cares?
Right, we won.
Because he's got length.
Yeah, and we won.
And that team was long. That's why.
Yeah, wait till we slip up against a team we're not supposed to lose to.
Yeah, it's gonna. You're not gonna go 82-0, guys. As much as I
disagree.
Yeah.
No.
Put that bet on sports. What is it? What's the shout out to our sponsor? Sports Bet.
I don't know. We have a sponsor.
God damn it! I was trying to fake a sponsor. Let me get it in there. Point book.
I don't know. Anyway,
you could tell I don't bet. He's the better. Yeah. He don't even know the damn name of the app he uses.
Well, I thought you just said you were trying to make one up.
What was the real one? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh man,
that was fun.
And
that concludes our podcast.
You excited to go to the game Sunday?
Yeah,
I'm ready, man.
I'm very excited. I have a big weekend, man. I'm going to Tulane tomorrow.
Yeah.
Going to the Pels Sunday. Big day Sunday. It's a long day, but yeah.
It's gonna be fun. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. My wife was a little upset that I did not invite her or my daughter because they both actually really love going to Pels games. And I was like, babe, I had to like place a bet on an app in order to get this ticket. Like,
yeah.
I don't think my 3-year-old can bet.
Yeah,
yet.
It's not even a guarantee that our tickets are together.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like,
it's not.
She's like, where are you sitting? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
We'll be in there.
Sit by myself somewhere. Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know, man. I'm excited though. It's sold out.
Oh yeah.
You got Jazz coming up, and then I think it's Mavs and Warriors, which is when it gets interesting because the Mavs are the team that I said that's where I'm at. Like that's the team we jump.
I agree.
And I don't think that team's all that roster. They just have Luka.
I don't either, but they definitely have some interesting pieces. I mean, it depends what Christian Wood does.
Yeah, that's a big addition. I've always liked Christian Wood. That's one that I wish hadn't gotten away from us.
Yeah, he's got talent. He's got potential. I told him I have two of my close friends who are Mavs fans, and I forgot they got Christian Wood. We were talking in the offseason, and he was like, "Yeah, Christian Wood this," and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, dude, he dropped he went like 16 straight for them the other night.
Oh, I was like, he's literally like what you guys wanted out of Porzingis. So like, if he can come in and be that, you're good. Now it depends how they finagle the lineup.
It's just one of those scenarios where, and we kind of talked about it before, where if you go 1-for-1 on that roster, like player by player, the Pels have
for sure
far better roster for
sure.
But if the Mavs ended higher than the Pels, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I mean,
and I think it's just because Luka's
phenomenal. It is what it is. Like, but then I also I love Luka. I want to preface this. He's probably my favorite player in the league. It's slowly changing to BI over the last couple of years, but I always looked at Luka as like the next dominant guy, right? But the more I look at him, the more I'm like, is he like just that James Harden guy that just like dominates the ball and like he's going to win some games?
I don't like Luka's game. Like he's very good. I don't like the way he plays.
Why? Because I think I might agree to an extent.
So he kind of, and this is going to sound weird because he always has a lot of assists, but he's very much a ball hog.
Yeah.
Very, very much. And maybe rightfully so because his roster isn't all, but last year like he had Brunson, and I think that's why Brunson wanted to leave. Cuz Brunson is another ball dominant guy, and Luka just like there were so many times where I see him get into the paint and he scores on it. So maybe it's not a bad thing. But like he works so hard just to get these points. He's got two guys on him. He's got Dorian Finney-Smith, who if you ever see Dorian Finney-Smith at the line for his threes at 1.5 on any sports book, take it. 100 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's one of the best shooters I've ever seen, dude.
Down.
And he's just sitting in the corner wide open. Like his job on that offense is literally just to sit there in the corner like this and wait for Luka to pass him the ball.
Yeah.
But sometimes he works so hard that he slows. It's hard to watch somebody that slows the game down so much like that.
Yeah. So and that's kind of what I was getting at when I compared him to Harden. That stretch where Harden was like the man and like did he win MVP? I can't remember if he won MVP.
I think he did.
He was so ball dominant, and his teams would win, and they'd get in the playoffs, and they'd fizzle out.
Yeah.
Playoff Harden, right? Which Luka hasn't been like bad in the playoffs, but I think I saw a stat. I think it was last year during the Suns series, one game where like Luka was responsible for like 95 of the 102 points or something like that, and it was like, what do you do without him? Like
he's so good, like he's incredible, like, and I like his game more than Harden. Because Harden always did the flopping and all that.
Sure.
Like Luka cries a lot, but he also doesn't get a lot of calls.
Yeah.
For some reason, I watched a lot of Mavs games last year. I don't know why.
Well, they're fun. Luka's fun.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Also, I had a lot of money on Dorian Finney-Smith.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, when I watched him, I'm like, it feels forced. Like their offense feels forced. Like when you watch the Pels right now, and again,
it's
deeper,
so smooth.
deeper roster. But, dude, it looks effortless.
It's so fun to watch, man.
And the Warriors, I mean, one of the best teams in the league, just looks effortless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Mavs don't seem to have an offense. It's like, hey, Luka, get into the lane, do a bunch of shit, and then maybe pass the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because he ends up with, like, 9, 10 assists all the time. But it's like, he could, if he wanted to average 15 assists a game, he could.
Oh, absolutely.
Easily.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all I got to say about Luka.
That's cool. That's all I got in general. What else we got?
We're pretty deep into this, an hour and 12 minutes. I think we got a pretty quick top 5 going. Let me run through my little weekly thing right quick, make sure we don't have nothing.
Okay.
I asked you this last week, and your answer was no, but then they won again. Are the Giants for real?
Fuck.
I think I'm gonna ask you this every week. This is our new thing. Are the Giants for real?
Can I be honest here? Sunday, I don't know if I said this on here. I think I might have said this before we started recording. Sunday, I think that it was like the culmination of me hating the NFL this year. I got so drunk during the Saints game and after the Saints game to where I was like the next day, not like hungover, but like I had like anxiety because I knew that like I was just like
the NFL is boring this year,
dude. So I'm saying that because I didn't even watch. I have no idea if you asked me any questions about any games this last weekend, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, the NFL is and one of the fantasy football podcasts I listen to. I think they said like to this point in the year, it's like 100 less touchdowns than last year.
Yeah, blame it on Thursdays.
It's just bad football.
Yeah. We've talked about that.
Well, this is another question about Sunday. Is Bailey Zappi better than Mac Jones?
I don't know. I don't know enough about him.
I put it out there the other day because I said I wanted to be the first to the take that I think Bailey Zappi is better.
I said, I didn't watch football last weekend other than this, the 20 minutes of the Saints game I remember.
The Lakers are a disaster. Russell Westbrook
The Lakers
should hang
are
him
a
up.
disaster. No, you know what? I have a take on and this has been put out there. I have a take on Russell Westbrook. Not that he's good right now. He looks terrible as far as his shot making. Everything else looks good. He looks broken as a man.
He needs to get out of LA.
And I think even like Charles Barkley said this. A few people have said this. He just looks sad, like depressed.
He's on a team that clearly doesn't want him. Like if he needs to get into a different scenario, he really does.
I mean, it'll be like the 6th time, and
that's fine. I think there's a I don't know what it is, but there's a scenario that it would just make him happier. I think I don't know where it is. As long as he's willing to accept that he's not who he was.
Yeah.
Like, if you just go be a role player somewhere.
You know who would worship him unless he plays terrible? New York.
Yeah.
Go play for the Knicks. Not that it's that easy, but, if he gets traded to the Knicks and like is half the player he used to be and at least shoots, somewhat better than what he's shooting right now. I say that his first game he shot pretty well. The second game he was abysmal.
Yeah.
He's worshipped.
Yeah. I mean, selfishly, we want him to stay on the Lakers.
Well, absolutely. I want the Lakers to be a fucking dumpster
but
fire.
like you say, if he's not happy, man, it's just I'm with you. He doesn't look happy. Like
It's
maybe
miserable.
it's just time.
That whole team though, like, are any of them happy?
No, because they have to play with LeBron.
Even LeBron, he looks like he's just going through the motions.
Well, he deserves it. He put himself in this situation.
He gets like 35 and 12, and like people worship him after the game, and it's like
he's got a stat chase.
they're all empty stats. They were never in the game.
I will say this, like respect when the respect is due. I didn't watch that game. The first game, Anthony Davis looked phenomenal.
Did he?
Like that dude was committing on defense. Like they started him at the 5, which he never wants to do, but he did it. Dude, he was like defensively, it was prime Anthony Davis. He looked awesome.
That's interesting because the first game I didn't watch it, but I jumped into Lakers Spaces like halfway through the game, and they were killing Anthony Davis.
Well, offensively, he was okay.
They were like
but defensively, he was killing it.
Dude, they were like basically like this dude thinks he's like the alpha on the team. Like he thinks that he can just turn it on whenever he wants. He's not LeBron James. He looks so lazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, y'all hate this man. Welcome to the club. This is fun.
Victor Wembanyama soon come. And last thing, we don't have to have a conversation about it, but John Wall's back, and I'm so happy to see it.
He's fun, man. He's fun. I haven't watched him. I've seen some highlights, but
anyway, let's do top 5 because we're at an hour and 15.
Oh yeah, we're getting up there. Our top 5 is gonna be short tonight, though. I do have some runner-ups in the top 5.
I do not. Not off the top of my head, at least.
Well,
this is one I threw together quick.
I did too. I didn't even write down like what's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just gonna pick them, like I did last time or a couple times ago. Top 5 tonight is top 5 candy.
Inspired by Halloween.
Inspired by Halloween.
Spooky season.
In particular, what had me think of this was a tweet by. Who was it brought to us by?
Spirit Halloween costumes.
There you go. Just roll with it. If you'd have said it, I would have been like, fuck
I had
yeah.
to think of something.
All right.
Anyway.
No, inspired also by, well, you're going to agree with this, but the reckless tweet of Dan Orlovsky today saying that Reese's were the most overrated Halloween
I just don't
candy.
like Reese's. That's all that is.
That's fair. You don't have to like Reese's, but a frozen Reese's Pieces is fucking phenomenal. Another thing I want to say as we get in here, guys, I don't even eat candy.
That's rare. It's just like maybe. Like
I used to.
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of candy either.
I used to love candy, which is probably why I was 350 pounds. I also used to love Coca-Cola and
I still have that problem.
Anything. McDonald's, all that shit.
But
Anyways, top 5 candy. I'll start.
Okay.
I'm going to go number 5. For me, a childhood favorite. I'm talking, I love this shit. Caramellos.
I don't think I've ever had
It's like
one.
a bar. It's like chocolate with caramel in it.
I don't think I've
Caramello.
ever had a caramello. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should try all of these. Maybe that's what we should do on our next Halloween costume.
Yeah, you know what? We could do that. Are we going to wear Halloween costumes?
I'm not wearing
Wait till you see my Halloween costume. It's fucking sweet.
I don't have a costume.
Oh, I finally
because I
got
won't
one.
be home for Halloween, so I don't have a costume.
You can come as
So I think
yourself.
we should do
It's
that.
fine.
We should find all of these candies and just try them.
We could do that.
Anyway,
I'm going to hate myself after.
next week is the Halloween episode, I think.
Yeah, basically. I mean.
Yeah. My number 5, now and laters.
Okay.
I love a good now and later. Kind of a theme to mine.
Yeah, I mean, I you'll notice I have a theme, but it kind of jumps back.
You
and
have a
forth.
taste.
I have a taste.
Yeah.
For sure. Number 4, I'm going to go with the most overrated Halloween candy. I don't think it's the most overrated. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
My wife would agree.
I do love a good Reese's
Agree with
Peanut
you,
Butter
not
Cup.
me.
Yeah.
My number 4, and they don't make them anymore. Now there's just sour sweet tarts, but Shockers.
Yeah.
I love Shockers.
I do love
Sour
Shockers.
candies are elite.
Yeah.
I love sour candies.
I agree.
Except for Warheads. I think Warheads are overrated.
Oh, dude, I love Warheads.
When you
Didn't make my list, but I
when you
love
first
Warheads.
eat a Warhead, phenomenal.
Yeah.
When the sour wears off of a Warhead, not great.
That's also true because then it's just like the sweet candy.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not
weird.
great.
I haven't had a Warhead in
Me
decades.
either.
I have had actually. I buy the like Ghost energy drinks sometimes.
Yeah.
They have one that's like a Warheads one, and I drank that one the other day. So
It's like childhood.
Flashbacks.
That's a whole other list. Like childhood candies that I used to love.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, getting into that actually, that's a theme that I like as well. Number 3 for me is gonna be Sour Patch Kids.
I love Sour Patch Kids. 100%. You remember Wonder Balls?
Yeah, I sing that song.
What's a Wonder Ball?
I sing that song all the time. I don't think my wife knows what the fuck I'm singing. She like looks at me.
At least 4 times a year I think about the Wonder Ball, and I don't know why.
I don't know why either. It's just that catchy tune, and all that was in it was like this tiny little.
Nothing good was ever in a Wonder Ball, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it tasted like shit.
Yeah, it was terrible chocolate, and there was like this tiny shitty like figurine inside most of the
Wonder
time, or like a sticker, right? I don't remember.
So, yeah, sometimes it was a sticker.
Yeah,
Number 3, the Butterfinger.
that's a
my
good
favorite.
one. That did make my list. That's a good one. I went back and
Butterfinger.
forth.
That's my favorite candy bar, like chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Ooh, that or the cookies, Hershey's cookies and cream bar.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know where I'm going.
your
with
number
this.
2.
My number 2, Twix. Specifically left Twix.
I was about to ask you left to right. So you're a left Twix guy. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm a no Twix guy. I'm not. It's okay.
Yeah, it's funny because like you said a theme here. I definitely have a theme. The caramello is like caramel and chocolate Twix. It's caramel, chocolate
I don't love
crunch.
caramel. I love a Snickers,
Yeah,
but I don't love caramel.
that's fair.
So, but
I like caramel when mixed with things. I'm not I couldn't just.
I used to love. I don't know if this is caramel. I used to love Three Musketeers, and then just something happened where I don't like them.
I don't really like them anymore.
Also, all of these, like any chocolate bar, the Halloween tiny versions are far and away better than the full versions.
Oh yeah,
100%.
absolutely. The mini size, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, fun size.
My number 2, sour punch straws.
That's a good one.
Blue
So-
or green.
So
specifically.
those Sour Patch Kids, all those types of things, I like kind of looped them together when I was thinking of that.
Did you ever use a sour punch straw as a straw growing up?
I tried to. It never worked.
Oh, I used to do it all the time.
Did it work for you?
Yeah, but it's all like the drink is only good for a little while. Like
Yeah, like
now I would never do it. Like that's probably terrible. Like that's a whole.
It's
Nother,
also
that's
s-
another list. Top 5 things you used to do as a child that you would never do now.
yeah, ketchup sandwiches would never do that now. It's one of them. Well, maybe that's a list we'll do.
I like that.
Also, the straw itself, it's kind of like that Warhead effect, right? Where like if it's in your drink,
that I disagree. I think
Really?
a sour punch straw is great.
well, it
from start to
loses
finish.
the little like
Yeah, but
sugary
the
like.
candy itself is better than whatever a Warhead is.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's just me.
That's
I
fair.
think gummies are also better than just hard candies.
Interesting. So my number 1, it's not a gummy. My number 1 is going to be jelly beans, but specifically, and this is a big specifically because just jelly beans.
This is a
hell no.
major upset.
Just jelly beans, hell no. Specifically the Starburst jelly beans.
Okay, all right. Now you're talking
Yeah.
because I was good. Jelly beans is
No.
ugh.
No.
You might as well have said like Peeps or candy corn.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I know. That's why I had to make sure that, yeah, definitely Starburst
I
jelly
like
beans.
that. Yeah, because then you're just eating Starburst.
Basically, but I don't know why I like them more than Starburst. I think because like you don't chew them as long.
You get the crunch. The crunch
Yeah,
is
yeah,
nice. The little bit of crunch with the soft inside is the key to a good candy.
Mm-hmm.
My number 1 is Airheads, specifically the small Airheads.
I like that.
I love Airheads.
I like that.
You got to take 2 of them, twist them together, make a little combination.
Do you have any runner-ups? Anything that just comes to mind? Now that we've talked for a second, I've got 2 that I wrote down.
Go ahead.
Jolly Ranchers.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Mhm. Specifically the green apple and the blue raspberry. Well, really all of them. Watermelon.
Jolly Ranchers
Cherry.
are good.
Yeah.
I love a good Dum Dum Pop.
Dum Dums can be good. So that's my other runner-up is a blow pop.
Yeah.
I don't want the gum, to be honest.
Too much sucker for me.
Okay.
Dum Dum Pops are this big, I can finish them in 5 seconds and move on with life.
Yeah.
To wrap it up, I guess, because we're there. As a kid, did you have was there one house you would always want to go to, like trick or treating? Like
No.
no.
My neighborhood, I don't know, we would trick or treat all kinds of different places. Like we would go, there was a real nice neighborhood we'd go to sometimes, and then my neighborhood was always like they would do it big, and I don't know, like there were so many places that you would get candy from. It didn't matter.
Yeah. Chalmette doesn't really. They do have some subdivisions,
Mhm.
like we call it like the rich people subdivisions, but like Chalmette is just one big neighborhood. There's not subdivisions, so it was always the same. But we used to have one house. There was like 2 streets in Chalmette.
They gave the king size.
Well, no, we referred to but we referred to it as like the rich people houses because these 2 streets had houses that like by today's standards, like they're nothing special,
right.
but
It'd
to what we were living
neighborhood,
in,
like,
to what we were living in, like it was probably houses like this.
Yeah,
and I'm like, back then it did just look so much nicer than what we lived in.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a house that every year they had a popcorn machine outside, and they would hand out bags of popcorn.
You know what? Now that you mention that, there was one house that had the same thing. They had a popcorn machine, and then they had like a haunted house set up and like all this shit outside.
We'd make the stop every year, probably twice,
mm-hmm.
every time. Once on the way out, and then once on the way back.
Did you have any houses that gave away candy apples too?
No, I did have a house that would put like money in random pieces of candy.
Wow.
Like $5 bills, like in random pieces, so you would just get it.
That's kind of cool.
Like they would just drop the candy in your bag, and then it might be.
That's cool.
There, yeah.
I like that. No, we didn't. I mean, our neighborhood, it was hit or miss. It was kind of like kind of what you're saying about Chalmette. Like we had some houses that were like my house was like not a good house at all. But then like you'd randomly walk around the neighborhood and there'd be like these 4 really nice houses that would all be giving stuff, and then like 3 that gave nothing, and then like this random other one.
Best houses, besides the ones that do something special, are the ones that just put the bowls out and are like, take a handful and keep it moving.
You know what though? My neighborhood, that shit did not work because
no, it never works. If you get there early, it's the best house in the world.
There was none left. It was all gone.
That's the best houses to go to if you get there before everybody else.
Yeah, good for them though, because that's like I totally respect that mindset. Like fuck it, I'm doing my part. Here's the candy, I'll take it.
That's how, like, we didn't do anything last year, but like that's gonna be our approach every year from now on. It's just we're putting the bowl out mostly because we're gonna be out trick or treating.
Yeah.
So we'll put the bowl out. Like, dude, I'm not answering the door 50 times. Like, I got 2 dogs. Like, you're the same way. Like, my dogs do not need to run to the door every 5 minutes for y'all coming up there.
My son, his grandma lives in River Ridge, and they like set up a big table out front, and like it's kind of cool. Like they have like a hayride where people ride around, and they just like all talk. It's like this real weird like neighborhood thing, which I'm sure is gonna happen in my neighborhood. I'm not gonna lie. Like they're talking on the Facebook, like, hey, what time are we starting? What day are we doing it? I'm like, fucking
There was a couple years
Halloween.
ago when my neighborhood tried to change Halloween, like the day of Halloween.
Yeah, they tried to do that on our Facebook. And people, thankfully, I live with a bunch of neighbors who are like, what are you talking about? Like, Halloween is on Halloween.
I don't even remember why, but they were just like, y'all want to do it today? Like, no.
No. No, absolutely not. It's on the 31st. What are you doing?
Yeah. But anyway. That was a good little conversation there. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. We could wrap it up.
Yeah,
follow me on Twitter.
This is a lot longer than I thought it was going to
right?
be.
I did coming in. I had no idea what we were going to talk about. We do this every week, though. Follow me on Twitter at @ThePattyV. Follow Dave.
At Rainy Days. The 3 is an E.
Yeah.
Or the E is a 3. Yikes.
There you go. Follow the podcast at Who Effin' Knows on everything. KNEAUXS. We're on Facebook too, which if we ever post to Instagram again, it will automatically go to Facebook. So
also, we've done a terrible job of it lately. Like our Instagram and TikTok, like putting the clips out on there.
Yeah, we have.
I'm thinking while we're at the game Sunday, maybe we do some TikToks.
That'd be fun.
Like just not something stupid, just the life of us out
at
a Pels game.
That'd be fun. I'm cool with that. It'd probably be more fun if I was drinking, but I'm probably not gonna be drinking.
I'll drink enough for you.
Fuck it. I'll just be wild and crazy. I'll drink coffee. Listen, caffeinated patty can also be wild. I'm not talking 12 a.m. caffeinated patty. I'm talking,
But anybody else know? We'll see y'all Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, say hello. I don't know what the hell I'm wearing, but we'll figure it out.
Just a Pels shirt.
I realized I don't really have, I have Pels shirts, but
I don't have a lot either.
I don't like how they them fit me anymore, so I'm probably not going to wear them any. I'm probably going to buy something.
I'll probably hit up Dick's or something over the weekend.
Yeah.
Or Academy.
I'm going to be the old white guy and buy a polo, so.
Respect. Well, you're getting a shirt. They're giving out shirts.
They are, but I have to wear something to the game. I can't show up shirtless. I mean, I could, but There was somebody that reminds me. Bye guys. One last fun story here. You can cut it there. Or you can leave this. It's fun. There's I was at the Saints game and there's these 3 random fucking dudes walking into the stadium shirtless, not painted anything on their chest, no shirts in their pocket. I'm like, what drugs are you on? And why are you walking into an enclosed facility without a shirt.
I respect it.
It's fine. With that being said,
anyway,
enjoy your night. Hit up theknow.com as well. See any articles we got coming out. Also at Be in the Know on Twitter. I don't know if you said that already, but
you said that.
did I? No, I said at who effing knows.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
All right.
There you go.
Home.
Go home, go to sleep. Hope y'all enjoyed it. See you next week.
Later.